Man, let's talk about these COVID vaccines. Y'all know I've been talking about them on the channel. Don't take them. Listen, we anti-vaxxers over here. If that's what they want to label us, we don't believe in them. We know that they alter our DNA, right? We know they trying to control the population with them. People are speaking out against what happened to them as far as with those COVID vaccines. Remember, we've been talking about them since back then. People ain't believe us. We was conspiracy theorists. We was this, we was that. A lot of people were unalived. A lot of people, their health will not be the same. You know, when you go places, people got a constant cough. Man, it's all type of adverse health effects that came from those jabs. Let's hear about it on this video today. And next time another pandemic come, y'all better not get them. Y'all better not take them jabs. Don't trust them. Don't trust them.
I wish I had never taken that COVID vaccine. It was a scare tactic anyway, the more I think about it, because back when COVID-19 came out, we was all upset and scared, didn't know what to do. And when it came a time where everybody could go back to work and you had to go to work, you couldn't stay at home anymore, my mom agreed to come and live with us to take care of the kids. So one of our kids didn't have to go to school and the other one didn't have to go to daycare, because they said if you could have a way to keep your kids at home so they wouldn't run the risk of being exposed, that was the best thing to do. And also at the same time, if you're around elderly people, which my mom was over 80 then, that you would have to take the vaccine, especially when you went to work around a whole bunch of people you might be exposed to. You don't want to give it to any elderly people. So it was a scare tactic. But as I can reflect back, because I even had to have a procedure done with my thyroid where my husband couldn't go because they only allowed you to go in. As you know, you couldn't have people going in with you when all this COVID was going on. So they actually had to get a sample out from my thyroid and stuck a needle in my throat this long, and I didn't have anybody there but me. I was terrified and I was in a lot of pain, but I had to drive there by myself and come home by myself. But when I finally went to my doctor, after we got the results back, thank God, for the thyroid was not cancerous, I asked her what she felt about that vaccine. At this time, me and my husband had already taken it. But she said she advised none of her patients to take that vaccine because it was not enough research done on it. That was one thing. And she said, what better antibodies could your body have than to catch the COVID, and your body will build up natural antibodies to fight it off.
Right. You know, if you didn't get the vaccine, you were less susceptible to getting sick. Those that took it were more likely to become sick long term and recurring. Those that didn't get the vaccine were better off. But the news spun that narrative. They made it seem like the other way around. You know, they did a lot of fear mongering. They tried to tell people, you know, we were the ones that were increasing the cases when it was the other way around. They did a whole documentary on it. I don't know how many people watched it. It's called Died Suddenly. It was a documentary back then. It was all over Twitter. If you know, you know. I might have a name wrong, but there were people that were dying because they took that jab. They were getting blood clots. And you know, Bill Gates came out around that time as well, saying this was the way that they would reduce the population through pandemics, through vaccines. And I know some people that passed away. I went to 3 funerals in 1 week, and they all passed away the same way.
She also informed me that only one of her patients had passed away from COVID because the scare tactic was that the doctors were going to keep unalive you and put you on ventilators, and they didn't know what they were doing. And she said she had things to treat COVID with. That was another thing. Well, fast forward when I think about it, and I think she felt some way about everything that was going on because she's no longer practicing anymore. I had to find another doctor, and she's doing missionary work. So with all this stuff going on, it just doesn't surprise me that it was a hoax. And the government now is always trying to cover things up, and they were asking the man behind this COVID stuff to at least apologize because he knew it wasn't enough information given on it, and a lot of people could be affected by it by catching cancer and diabetes. He said he wasn't gonna say he was sorry for nothing.
Yeah, you know, Fauci stepped down right after that. He got his money, he stepped down. And listen, with these jabs, it had luciferase in it. People's bodies were burning up. Luciferase, you know what that sounds like. On top of that, there was not any research behind it. They rushed them out. They tried to give cash incentives for people to take them. Where they do that at? Since when they do that? You know, this pandemic was a targeted hit, and more people passed away from the jabs than the actual pandemic. Some people like to say that the pandemic wasn't the thing that we should have worried about. It was the jabs. And I got some people, like I said, I went to 3 funerals in 2 days due to it. And I said there will become a time where they will broadcast that these vaccines were the things that were taking people out. It's going to be like you see all the other commercials. If you took this jab, then you may be entitled to compensation. If your family member took this, they might be entitled, those. You could get X amount of dollars, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Yeah, it's going to be one of them.
This whole Fauci, her his name, American medical situation is really disturbing me, and I want to fight someone. I really do, because what do you mean you didn't have to get the vaccine? And I kind of feel two ways. One, I'm kind of like upset with myself because I really wish I would have trusted God and not taken the vaccine. I really do, and I remember Montgomery saying not take that poison. But I didn't take it because I was fearful about COVID. I took it because I really needed a job at the time.
See, people want to talk about finances. How you say you believe in the Most High, but you worried about finances? Oh, you didn't trust him to provide. You didn't trust him to do what he said he was going to do. He will protect you. He will provide for you. Y'all want to say, I did it for the kids. Y'all want to say, I did it because I needed a job. Well, guess what? It's going to be the same thing for that mark of the beast. People going to be like, oh, I need a job. I need health care. I need this. I need that. Well, you don't have faith for real. You don't believe that he will do what he said he going to do. If he said it's going to happen, it's going to come to pass, but you don't trust that. You don't got enough faith. Yeah, people going to be saying, I took the jab because I needed a job. I needed food. I got to go to my doctors. I need health care. All right, because y'all know that was the test run. That was nothing but the test run. It will be much worse in the coming years. By 2030, we got a couple more years left. Now people want to talk about, I wish I didn't take it. Listen, don't make those same mistakes. That's all I'm saying. Don't do it again.
The only job that was available to me was a job in healthcare. And you couldn't work in any healthcare system and not get the vaccine. You just couldn't. Like, it was a no. And I was, like, desperate at this point. I had just came from a stint of, like, sleeping in my car for a couple of months of, like, I need a job. And that was the first job that was available to me. And I took the vaccine. But as soon as I took the vaccine, my period stopped. My ovaries shut down. I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, are you still getting your period? I'm like, yeah, well, it's like intermittent. And he's like, yeah, well, your body's functioning like a 7-year-old woman in menopause. And I was 32 at the time. And he's like, the only way for you to have children is to freeze your eggs right now, try to do an IVF cycle, or donor eggs. I tried the IVF cycle from the hospital that I was working in, failed miserably. Okay, I needed like 4 more rounds, and the hospital at the time only gave you like $20,000 for IVF. A lifetime cycle, because depending on the cycle, it is very expensive, and I did $20,000 my first cycle, and so then the doctor's like, well, the only way that you're going to have a kid is if you get donor eggs, which I don't believe in them. I believe that God is going to do his big one when it's time for me to have children.
And then let's talk about that. There was something called pandemic babies. Remember the pandemic babies was coming out they were doing abnormal things. They were coming out with a full set of teeth. They were coming out with a baby, you usually got to hold their neck. They was coming out being able to hold their head up themselves. They were coming out completely different than all the babies that was born before the pandemic. I could say that, right? They had them vaccines in their DNA. It altered people's DNA. Remember that. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to keep it real. And there's people on this channel that didn't took them. Don't do it again.
He can do the impossible, so I'm really not worried about that part. But I'm just like, all of the things that I've been through, like my periods are so intermittent. It is really crazy. And I just don't understand how you're going to tell us right now that we never needed to get the COVID vaccine. Like, I'm going to fight you. Can I sue you? Like, I know that's rhetorical, but for real, like, crazy.
No, it ain't no suing. You took them intentionally. They had to have a government on there and everything trying to convince people. They took placebo. They did all of these extraneous efforts to convince you. Since when they got to do that? They usually don't have to do that. They got to convince you. It ain't no suing. You got to take your L. Your health has been compromised. Take your L. You better be happy your life wasn't taken. Like I said, many people passed away from them. You better be thankful you didn't take the third. It might have been the third, fourth. I don't know how many of them they had. I think them third ones was dropping people. The boosters, the third one, they was dropping people. Unaliving them. You better be happy you didn't take that one. You might have took the first and second one. I'm glad this information is coming out, but I knew it would come out. I've been telling my boy back in Australia, I said it's going to come a point in time where this information will come out. We both were saying it. It's going to come a point in time, a couple years down the line, it's going to come out. I'm going to keep it as brutal as I can. If you took that jab, you were deceived. Yeah, I got to keep it real with you. It is what it is, right? You know you were. You were fearful. They got you. Don't do it again.